This is Ty Dickinson.
And Erica Lopez from the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab with your weekly regional forecast starting on Friday, September 15th, 2017.
As we're preparing to head off to California this weekend, we'll be bringing you the latest updates on what is expected in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Also, how do you think Hurricane Irma impacted the newest drought monitor? Thanks for tuning in again, and let's take a look.
Taking an initial look at the temperature outlooks, days 6 to 10 are forecast to be driven by a strong upper air trough over the western United States and a ridge downstream over the eastern U.S. These features act to tilt odds towards below normal and above normal, respectively. Below normal probabilities are highest in Idaho, Nevada, and Utah at 80%, while above normal probabilities are highest at 80% and are found in the Midwest.
The upper air ridge and trough are forecast to be less amplified, meaning weaker, moving into week 2. This is the reason the probabilities are lesser, but they still remain fairly high for both above and below normal temperatures, maximizing at 60%. The overall distribution of above and below normal temperature probabilities are the same as in days 6 to 10. Temperature anomalies are forecast for around 1.5 to 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit for above normal and about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit for below normal.
Moving to precipitation, in the next 6 to 10 days, the strong trough mentioned earlier will act to tilt odds towards above normal precipitation. Odds are maximized at 60% in Idaho and Oregon. The flow will not quite reach the Four Corners, and the earlier mentioned ridge tilts odds towards below normal precipitation along the Gulf Coast and running up the Appalachian Mountains.
As we look at days 8 to 14, the less amplified upper air features cause probabilities to be lower like they are in the temperature outlooks. Below normal probabilities remain in virtually the same areas as seen in days 6 to 10, while above normal probabilities push slightly further south and east. Overall, precipitation anomalies are forecast to be up to an inch less than normal and about up to 1.5 inches above normal in their respective areas.
Since last week, dry regions in South Carolina and central Georgia have been removed. Conversely, northern Oklahoma and regions on the Edwards Plateau in Texas have been added into the short-term abnormally dry regions. Otherwise, the remainder of the South remains free from drought, as rainfall has certainly been plentiful. Unfortunately, long-term drought conditions in the northwest U.S., especially in Montana.
Once again, this podcast has been brought to you by the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab, a top academic weather and research program in the United States and partner of the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program. This weekend, we will be traveling to California to present a poster in our partnership with SCIPP. Look for some pictures on Twitter, and as always, watch for your forecast Fridays on the Oklahoma Weather Lab channel on YouTube.